Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. My name is Vincent. I'm with a channel called Vincent Plans Retirement, and it occurred to me that I didn't make a video on why I made this channel. So this should be really the first video one would ever make, but I'm 45 videos in and now making it. So I'm 56 years old, I'm Korean American. I live up here in the Northeast, New Jersey specifically. And when I started going down this path of retirement, I really couldn't find anything that resonated with me. I couldn't find channels that kind of fit the pattern, and I'm more of a pattern type thinker. I couldn't find a pattern that matched me. And it really made me concerned because one of the things that I am very, very keen on right now is retiring. I think many of us, probably at my age level, are already thinking about what are the next steps. If you work in corporations, you're probably thinking, at what point do I need to get out, right? And so that was me. And as I was on the internet, I just found that there were 3 categories of YouTube channels that talked about retirement. And I'll just tell you what they are. The first ones, and they're in massive abundance, they are the financial channels. And these are the CFPs and portfolio managers and firms that are basically explaining how their firms are better at planning, or they're explaining ideas that in concept are great for the do-it-yourselfer. You know, ultimately it's on you to implement. And then there's a lot of channels about, well, if this seems to be a popular topic that most people question. I have X amount of dollars in my retirement fund. Can I retire? That is, I think, the #1 question most people seem to ask. The second one that seems to be out there, which is not in super abundance, but really didn't fit with me very well, were the retirees already in retirement. And there's a couple that I would come up on my feeds that would talk about like economics in Florida, or there were retirees in Florida. But some of these folks were really a generation ahead of me, and they were already kind of down this path. And I think for them, it was really they've kind of done the retirement thing now. They've kind of moved into retirement, but they've evolved into a different subset of their retirement life cycle, meaning like their go-go years have a little bit behind them, and now they're kind of their slow-go years is what I would say. And there's a third one that I actually resonates with me. It's just more of a lifestyle thing than it is really like an educational thing. And those are the travel vloggers and the retirees who vlog about travel. And you know, I have 2 channels. One is this one, Vincent Plans Retirement. And this is basically about the journey, the financial aspects, the more kind of boring aspects of retirement, but absolutely necessary. It's the piece that you have to put in place before you retire. But then the second channel I have is called Tired to Retire, and that is the implementation of my plan. Now that I've set it up, how do I manifest that? How do I do what I want to do? And that's about travel. And in that channel, I plan on showing everything about retiring as it relates to my plan. And so let me tell you what my plan is that I've discovered. My plan is, once I retire, is to start setting up shop, so to speak, in a foreign country, particularly Vietnam or Thailand. And I've done a lot of research on those countries, and to me, makes the most sense given kind of the lifestyle I'm looking for. So with that, I just couldn't find any channel that really matched what I wanted. So I made my own, and it's turned out great. It's a lot of fun. And the thing about retirement is you have to get your finances set up. And there's a lot of things that got me down this path, and I enjoyed the activity of doing it. It got me very serious about my finances, very serious about looking at tax implications, very serious about how to manage funds for my children's college education. But then once all of that was set aside, it became more of a curation process. So what I mean by that is I bought software to really fully give me some perspective that I couldn't do on my own. I needed more information that these companies and people have more understanding about because they study it. So you could draw information from the internet hoping that it would just kind of materialize on your feed, or you can use basic good software that helps you plan. And I I started using Bolden software to help me do the planning aspect of finances. And once I kind of put my stuff into that system, it really gave me a different way to think about retirement. It started getting me involved in thinking about taxes, RMDs, timing, which is absolutely important. And that's something that I found a lot of these other channels, they explain it, but it's just not in a way that I could consume. So that's one of the reasons why I started this channel, is because I think it's important. I'm a do-it-yourselfer, and I've seen people say that they've paid financial advisors to do their planning for them and they swear by them. But I have a financial advisor and I really like the guy, but right now all I'm seeing from him is a sales pitch for insurance policies, and that's not what I'm looking for right now. Although I think, having done some analysis, and it's on this channel, I think some of that does make sense, but it makes me wary because the most vulnerable category age group for scams are high net worth individuals that are in that retirement arc. You know, if you see a lot of problems where people are being sold things that they don't need, or they are, you know, they get scammed out a lot by like these, you know, Nigerian scams, they typically are targeting elderly people, because who has more not disposable, but who has money that's just kind of sitting off, that's not being fully, you know, utilized on a day-to-day. And also, a lot of elderly people are not on the internet understanding some of the latest tax schemes and tax haven type of things. And so they're a really good target. And so that's what I found a little bit on the financial side, was that it seemed like there was a lot of that kind of stuff going on. And then on the wellness side is what I call it. It's the setting up part. And this is the part that I found to be the hardest one. Setting it up is really something you have to do years in advance. And what I mean by that is, presumably you should have a set of hobbies that you love to do. Like, I love to do jiu-jitsu. And whilst it's a very, very physical sport, it's something I love to do, and I seek out jiu-jitsu places anytime I go travel. So on my other retirement channel, I plan on visiting some of these places in Southeast Asia that are doing like MMA or jiu-jitsu or Muay Thai. I'm not a Muay Thai person, but I'd like to try it. It seems like a great workout. But one of the things that's absolutely important to me is to find a mat and work out with people in that community, because it is a great community. It just happens to be a really young community. Youth beholds youth, right? So I feel very youthful because I deal with 30-year-old people and 20-year-olds, and my kids do jiu-jitsu and I play with them and it's fun. But again, what that means is you have to set it up. And, you know, whether it's your hobbies or side hustles, which is what this is for me, you got to get it going. And so that leads me to the third thing, is that part of the other channel, Tired to Retire. My intent with this channel is to make it my hobby, as well as hopefully some monetization kind of side gig. Now, this channel doesn't get watched a lot. That doesn't bother me. I've heard a lot of people saying that it took them years to get going. I spoke to a guy, he's one of these do-it-yourselfers. He's very popular, and I don't mind giving him a shout out. His name is Joe Kuhn. He actually called me one day, and we talked, and he said he took him 3 years to get monetized. But Joe's a really bright individual, and I think he's passionate about this and is very willing to teach and share. And I really admire him, and I look up to that kind of behavior, because that's what I want to do. I'm not as smart as Joe, but regardless, that's what I plan to do with this channel, is to basically offload all of the information that I had and give it to you. So really, I'm interested to monetize this channel and hopefully make it a side hustle and continue to pump out videos, because it's a lot of fun. But like anything, you got to set things up, and it takes time. You may need to set up your retirement framework 3 years in advance and start getting into that routine, because remember, in retirement, what you do is you are replacing a routine with a different routine. But it takes some time to get into that routine, and on top of which, it's all within your control. It's not controlled with somebody else. You have to do it. So finally, this whole YouTube thing, I started off probably like a lot of other people. I bought equipment. I've got so much gadgetry. Like, this is from my cell phone to record on my cell phone. I've got these kind of remotes. This thing is sitting on a remote. My camera is one of the best beginner vlogging cameras. It's the Canon G7X Mark III. It's been highly rated. Apparently it's next to the Sony ZV-E10. I like the E10 because you can change the lenses, but that's a whole different topic. And if I could start a hunting channel around rifle scopes, I would, because glass is so fascinating, but I digress. Anyways, my camera equipment is this. I have a whole bunch of different things, but you know, all of this equipment doesn't mean much. And I see a lot of these channels that have all this fancy lighting and things like that. What I've discovered though is there are ones that get a lot of views, and there are ones that are just like the guy's just using his camera and just talking. And I'm not trying to be any fancy brand. In fact, I would like my channel to be just a discussion between you and I, and hopefully you'll watch me, and I would love to hear comments from you like I'm doing something wrong, it sounds stupid. But regardless of that, this is more of a pure discussion. And in some cases, I will get into some really boring topics, like things that I've uncovered. For example, this concept of sequence of returns. I've done a video about that. I don't believe my financial planner when it comes to what he said to me. I would be running out of money before I would run out with an insurance policy. And, you know, there are just things that I'll share with you, and it's up to you to make the decision on it. But to me, this channel is about really just education. And then my other channel is about vlogging and implementation of the idea of retirement that I find for myself. So with that, thank you very much for watching. This should have been done a long time ago, but I'm kind of glad I did it now, because chances are maybe YouTube will look at it differently, my thing. But also what I'm really hoping, and this is what I will say in conclusion, I'm hoping that somebody 7 years or 10 years younger than me right now is going to then be at 56 and asking the same questions, and who would have found my channel and found it helpful. So with that, thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. I really hope you come along with me for the journey. I do have another channel. It's called Tired to Retire. That one's going to be spun up pretty quickly. In 3 weeks, I'm going to be going to Southeast Asia, and that channel is going to be very, very active, because I'm just going to do everything related to Thailand and Southeast Asia, and maybe hopefully a couple other, you know, finance related videos. There's one right now I'm going to be doing about retirement drawdown strategies, like the bucket strategy. So thank you very much. I appreciate you for watching, and see you in the next one.